I opened the front door to the smell of cardboard and tape. 4 boxes sat stacked in the hallway, each one labeled in her handwriting: kitchen, kids' room, bathroom. The house was silent except for the sound of packing tape being pulled from its roll in the bedroom upstairs. It was 3:47 p.m. on a Thursday. The light coming through the window had that particular slant it gets in late September, amber and tired. I set my briefcase down and waited. She came down the stairs carrying another box, saw me, and stopped halfway. "I'm taking the kids to my parents," she said. Not a question, not a discussion. A statement delivered with the same tone she used to announce we were out of milk. "We're leaving tonight. I already told them we're coming." I didn't shout. I didn't argue. My chest didn't tighten the way you'd expect. It did something stranger. It went still, like water before it freezes. I looked at the boxes, at her face, at the car keys already in her hand. "Okay," I said. Just that, one word. She blinked. She'd been prepared for resistance. "That's it? You're not going to fight me on this?" "No," I said, "I'm not." She had no idea what she'd set in motion. "My name is David Brennan. I'm 51 years old. For 23 years, I worked as a compliance manager for a regional freight company. Not glamorous, not exciting, just steady. Numbers, procedures, documentation. The kind of work where you learn that details matter and silence can be more powerful than volume. I married Rachel when I was 29. She was 26. 22 years of marriage, 2 kids, Emma, 14, and Connor, 11. On the surface, we looked fine. School pickups, family dinners, beach vacations every summer. But surfaces can hide erosion. It started small. My opinions at the dinner table, gently dismissed. My suggestions for weekend plans, quietly overruled. My paycheck, automatically deposited and automatically allocated without my input. I became background noise in my own home. I let it go. I let a lot go. There was the time I suggested we needed to talk about our credit card debt. Rachel had spent $4,000 on a girls' trip to Scottsdale, and she looked at me like I'd asked her to explain quantum physics. "You always make everything about money," she said, turning back to her phone. There was the evening I came home to find she'd given away my father's toolbox to a neighbor because it was taking up space in the garage. When I said something, she sighed. "It's just tools, David. Why are you being dramatic?" I wasn't dramatic. I was silent. There's a difference. The conversation that led to those packed boxes happened 3 days earlier, on a Monday night. The kids were asleep. We were sitting at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd had 1,000 dinners, signed 1,000 permission slips. Rachel had her laptop open. I thought she was paying bills. "I talked to my mother today," she said, not looking up. "She thinks we should separate." I set down my coffee. "She thinks, or you think?" "Does it matter?" She closed the laptop. "David, you're not happy. I'm not happy. We're just going through motions." "So we fix it," I said. "We talk. We try." She laughed, actually laughed. "You don't talk, David. You sit there and nod and agree and then nothing changes. I'm tired of being married to a ghost." I felt something then, not anger, not hurt, something colder. "What do you want?" "I want space. I'm taking the kids to my parents' house for a while. A month, maybe more. You can stay here. We'll figure out the details later." "The details," I repeated. "Money, custody, whatever." She waved her hand like she was brushing away smoke. "My dad knows a lawyer. He said it doesn't have to be messy if we're both reasonable." That last part landed differently than she intended. Her dad knew a lawyer. She'd already discussed this with her parents, already made plans, already decided the shape of my future without me in the room. I looked at her face in the kitchen light. She was checking her phone now, scrolling through something. Her expression was bored, detached, like she was waiting for a transaction to process. I'd seen that look 1,000 times. At PTA meetings, at my company holiday parties, at our own anniversary dinners. The look of someone who'd checked out years ago but forgot to mention it. "Okay," I said. She looked up. Okay, what? Take the kids. Go to your parents. Take whatever time you need. She studied me, suspicious. You're agreeing? I'm not stopping you. She waited for more. When I didn't give it, she shrugged and went back to her phone. I'll pack tomorrow. We'll leave Thursday. That was the moment something inside me went quiet. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was upset, I was past upset. I lay in the guest room staring at the ceiling, and I did what I'd been trained to do for 23 years. I documented. Phone records, credit card statements, bank account activity, emails, text messages. I pulled everything, methodically, the way you inventory a warehouse before an audit. At 2:18 a.m., I made a phone call. David? Rachel's father answered on the third ring, his voice thick with sleep. What's wrong? Is Rachel okay? She's fine, I said. I'm calling because she told me she's bringing the kids to stay with you. Thursday night. Silence. Long silence. She what? She said you knew. She said you'd talk to your lawyer about it. David, I don't... Hold on. I heard movement, a door closing, his voice lower when he came back. I haven't talked to any lawyer. Rachel called on Sunday, said you two were having some issues, but she didn't say anything about coming here. Not with the kids, not for a month. I let that settle. She told me you think we should separate. I never said that. His voice had changed, sharper. What the hell is going on? I don't know yet, I said, but when she shows up Thursday, I wanted you to hear it from me first. We talked for 20 minutes. When I hung up, I opened my laptop and started a new document. By the time the sun came up, I had a timeline. By noon on Tuesday, I had an appointment with an attorney. By Wednesday evening, I had copies of every financial record, every inconsistency, every unexplained charge and deleted text thread recovery that a compliance professional could extract from 2 decades of shared accounts. Rachel packed on Thursday like she'd planned. I went to work. Came home at 3:47 p.m. to the smell of cardboard and tape. The morning after she left, the house felt different. Not empty. Emptiness implies absence. This was more like clarity. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, opened my laptop. The sun was coming through the window the way it used to when the kids were babies, clean and white and full of possibility. My phone buzzed at 9:23 a.m. Rachel. We got here safe, kids are fine, talk later. I didn't respond. At 11:40 a.m., another buzz. Rachel. Are you seriously ignoring me? At 2:15 p.m., my phone rang. Rachel's mother. I let it go to voicemail. She didn't leave one. At 6:30 p.m., Rachel called. I answered. What did you do? Her voice was tight, restrained. I could hear her mother in the background saying something I couldn't make out. I didn't do anything, I said. You called my parents. You told them. I don't even know what you told them, but my dad is acting like I'm some kind of liar. I told him you were coming, that's all. Bullshit, David. He's asking me about lawyers, about why I said he recommended one, about... She stopped, took a breath. What are you doing? I'm making sure everyone has the same information, I said. Seems fair. She hung up. The quiet war had started. Over the next 2 weeks, I learned things. Small things that added up to big things. Rachel had opened a separate checking account 4 months earlier. Deposits every 2 weeks. Her paychecks from the dental office where she worked part-time. $13,000, saved and hidden. I found emails to a divorce attorney dated back to July, 3 months before she'd said a word to me. I found text messages to her sister. I just need to get through the holidays, then I'm done. It was October. I called my attorney, Michael Graves, a man in his 60s who wore bow ties and spoke in complete sentences. I gave him everything. David, he said after reading through the files I'd sent, this isn't a separation. This is a strategy. She's been planning this for months. I know. Do you want to fight it? I thought about that. I want the truth on record. I want my kids protected. What she wants after that is up to her. Michael smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Then let's get to work. Rachel started calling more frequently, then texting, then having her mother call, then her sister. I screenshotted everything, responded to nothing that wasn't about the kids' immediate well-being. October 18th, 10:32 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. "You need to stop playing games and talk to your wife." I blocked it. October 22nd, I received a letter from Rachel's attorney, a petition for legal separation, listing her parents' address as her residence, demanding temporary custody, demanding I continue paying all household expenses, plus provide her $1,500 a month in temporary support. I forwarded it to Michael. He called me 30 minutes later. "She's not asking, she's demanding. Did you agree to any of this?" "No." "Good, don't. We respond next week. Let her think she's winning." November 3rd, my bank sent an alert. Someone had tried to make a withdrawal from our joint savings, $4,000. The transaction was flagged and blocked pending secondary authorization. I called the bank, confirmed the security hold. Then I called Michael. "Move your money," he said. "Half of everything joint goes into your sole account, today. That's your legal right. Do it before she tries again." I did. At 4:47 p.m., Rachel called screaming, actually screaming. "You froze me out of our account? Are you kidding me?" "I moved my half," I said. "Yours is still there." "I can't pay for anything. I can't buy groceries." "You have $13,000 in your private account," I said. "The one you opened in June." Silence. "How do you—" She stopped. I could hear her breathing. "You went through my accounts?" "No, I went through our accounts, the ones I'm legally entitled to access. Your private account showed up in the transfer history." She hung up. November 9th, Michael filed our response. It included a full financial disclosure. Every account, every debt, every asset. It also included a request for joint custody, a division of parenting time, and a denial of spousal support based on her separate income and hidden assets. Rachel's attorney called Michael 2 days later. They wanted to meet. The meeting was set for November 18th at her attorney's office, a conference room on the 3rd floor of a building downtown. I arrived 10 minutes early. Rachel was already there, sitting next to her attorney, a woman in her 40s with sharp glasses and sharper posture. Rachel's mother sat behind her, arms crossed. I sat down across from them. Michael sat beside me. He placed a folder on the table, but didn't open it. Rachel's attorney spoke first. "Mr. Brennan, my client is willing to negotiate a fair settlement that allows both of you to move forward without further conflict. We believe that joint custody with her as primary residential parent, combined with modest support to offset her reduced income, is reasonable." Michael said nothing. I said nothing. The attorney continued. "She's not trying to punish you. She just wants what's fair for her and the children." I looked at Rachel. She was staring at the table. Her jaw was tight. Her mother leaned forward and whispered something. Rachel shook her head. I spoke for the first time. "When you told me you were taking the kids, you said your father knew a lawyer. You said he thought we should separate. Was that true?" Rachel's face flushed. "That's not yes or no." Her attorney put a hand on her arm. "You don't have to answer that." "I do actually," I said, "because her father told me he never said any of those things. He never recommended separation. He never spoke to a lawyer. She used his name to make it sound like the decision was collaborative, but it wasn't. It was hers. And it started months before she told me." I slid the folder across the table. Michael had organized it beautifully. Bank statements showing the secret account, emails to her attorney from July, text messages to her sister about waiting until after the holidays, a timeline of withdrawals and purchases made without discussion, spa days, shopping trips, dinners out with friends while I ate leftovers at home. Her attorney opened the folder, started reading. Her expression changed. Rachel's mother stood up. "This is ridiculous. She has every right to plan an exit?" "Yes," I said, "she does. But not to lie about it, not to manipulate our kids, Not to take money we both earned and hide it while telling me we're partners. Rachel looked at me then, really looked. Her eyes were red. I didn't think you'd care, she said quietly. You never fought for anything, you just let things happen. That landed. It was true, in a way. You're right, I said. I did let things happen. I let you dismiss me. I let you make decisions without me. I let you treat me like I was optional. I leaned forward. But you chose who mattered when you opened that account, when you contacted that lawyer, when you told our kids we were taking a break without ever talking to me about what broke. She started crying. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears, quiet and real. Her attorney slid the box of tissues across the table. I don't want to punish you, Rachel, I said. I want our kids to have two parents who tell them the truth. I want you to have what you need, but I'm done pretending I don't matter. I stood up. Michael stood with me. We'll accept joint custody, I said. 50-50 parenting time, equal splits on all assets and debts. No support either direction. You keep your account, I keep mine. We co-parent like adults. Her attorney looked at Rachel. Rachel wiped her eyes and nodded. I left first. I didn't wait for her response. I didn't need it. 3 weeks later, we signed the papers. The kids split time between houses. Thanksgiving with me, Christmas with her, birthdays together, school events together. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. I changed the locks on the house the day the settlement finalized. Not out of spite, just out of closure. That evening, I sat on the back porch with a cup of coffee and watched the sun set. The air was cold and clean. The sky was orange and pink and gold. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel victorious. I felt unburdened. Silence isn't surrender. Sometimes it's preparation. If you had been in my place, would you have called her parents first or waited to see how it played out? Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Your presence means more than you know. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Let's keep walking this road together.